Hello guys and welcome to this evening's video. And today we're going to take a brief talk about Cyclone Tauktae. We're going to look at the Atlantic sea surface temperatures, we're going to look at the Nino 3.4 index, and we're going to be taking a look at the 7-day changes in the mean of the tropical waters around the world. But the main focus of this video is going to be on the area of interest going on in the Eastern Pacific right now. So with that being said, here we are. We're on the page for Tauktae, and as you can see, it's starting to wind down. It's not really looking like much but a rain event right now. It's located 24.0 north, 73.1 east. Maximum winds of 45 knots, which is 50 miles per hour, which I think it's lower than this. It's probably down below tropical cyclone status at this point in time. As you can see, I'm not going to go into these, but as you can see, it's far inland now. So GEFS has it pretty far inland, and so does the GEPS. And it may not be a wind event anymore or a storm surge event, but it's still a rain maker. There's no doubt about that. So please pay attention to freshwater flooding going through parts of northwestern and northern India in the coming days. Wrong. Okay, here is the CDAS sea surface temperatures the uh, for the Atlantic here, and as you can see, these warmer temperatures are starting to move north, like I said they were going to. They're slowly doing it, but they're getting there nonetheless. The Western Atlantic is pretty much good to go. Caribbean, we've got 26s, 27s, 28s, and 29s, so this is definitely good to go. The North Atlantic, or not North Atlantic, but the Northern Gulf is finally warming up here. So yesterday when we looked at this was 23 degrees Celsius, and now it's 24. So now we know that it's finally starting to warm up. These dark greens here is the 26 line for development. So here we are on the East Coast, and as you see, here's the Gulf Stream right here, and it's warm enough for tropical cyclone development if a storm was to go traveling across the Gulf Stream right now. So, overall, most of the Western Atlantic and most of the Gulf is ready to go. It's just that we need to get these temperatures a little bit higher up the north line for the MDR to wake up fully. Okay, so here is the CDAS Nino 3.4 index, and as you can see, it took a really big dip up, took a really big dip down, and now it's skyrocketed. So we're at a value of plus 0.071. So we're getting up there. The iOS is not really showing that, to be honest, because it's above the 7 range for the red line. But I think this is a direct result of Tauktae helping out with the westerlies and the passing of the MGO that is causing these to go up. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens here over the next coming weeks as we get closer to the National Atlantic hurricane season. All right, so here's the CDAS SST anomaly 7-day change here. And as you can see, the MDR has a lot of below average sea surface temperatures. But like I said, this is probably going to change here shortly. Just give it a couple of weeks, and I'm sure the temperatures will start rising. Hell, even as we speak right now, they are slowly rising, from what I've heard. So, only time will tell how much the sea surface temperatures are going to rise in the MDR as we go out through time. Okay, so here we are. We're looking in the subtropics now, and we got a big warm pool here, but we also have a rather large cool pool here too. surrounded by some neutral colors here. Um, this is an interesting look, really, but I think this will change as we go out through time. As you guys know, obviously, the farther we get, closer we get to summer, the hotter it's going to start becoming. And June 20th or 21st is the first day of summer. So we got one more month of spring left, and then it's going to be summertime. So with summertime comes hotter air temperatures, which start to warm the conditions around the areas. But not only this correlates to the sea surface temperatures slowly rising in temperature as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens through the next, couple weeks and months going forward. All right, so let's switch gears to the Pacific side, and as you can see, we got a lot of neutrals here, and you can tell at the equator line here that it's starting to warm. So this is an interesting look as well. Um, I don't foresee us going into warm neutral. I still see us staying in the cool neutral to maybe going into weak La Nina, going into the peak of the hurricane season. But this is just me. But you can see that the equator is warming up in the 7-8 change. All right, let's take a look at the global mean here, and as you can see, the MDR is cold. I mean, by the looks of the temperature, it's cold, but in reality, it's still warm. It's like 24 and 25 degrees Celsius, which I would still get into that water. That's still plenty warm enough for me, but it's not warm enough for tropical development of any kind whatsoever. The magical number is 26 degrees Celsius, and that is something we just do not have in the MDR yet. So here we go. We're going to go up to the subtropics here, and as you can see, the mean here, the average of the water temperatures is smoking hot. Um, the subtropical warmth and this warmth of here near the northeast coast is going to help build this subtropical high as we go out through hurricane season. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the Caribbean here, and we have a mixture of cool water, mean averages, and warm water averages with some neutrals mixed in. I do not see the southern Caribbean at least being a hotspot for development. I think the temperatures there are going to be below normal, and the wind shear may be high there as well. At least that's what I've heard from some people. Because some people do not have the southern Caribbean as a hot spot at all. So we're going to see how that progresses through the season. Here in the Gulf of Mexico, you can see we're starting to really warm things up here. Obviously, it's going to be cooler near the shelf waters, but that is to be expected. The shelf waters are still trying to recover from the Arctic blast of the winters, the cold fronts and the Arctic blast and stuff. So it's doing that nicely, actually, because as I showed you guys earlier, we got some 24-degree waters, right at the north there. So it shouldn't be too much longer until we get that 26 through the whole entire Gulf of Mexico. All right, so now that we got the Atlantic stuff out of the way, we're going to be specifically focusing on the Eastern Pacific because this is where we got an area of interest going on right now. And first of all, we're going to talk about the global means here of the SSTs, and then we're going to get to that. All right, so here in the Eastern Pacific, you can see that we still have a large cold pool here. So we're still in a cold Eastern Pacific period. But what really matters in this case is the equatorial Pacific. And as you can see, the Central Pacific is starting to warm up. Parts of the Eastern Pacific is a neutral. And then you got the actual Eastern Pacific, which is a few speckles of neutral and colder anomalies here. What you see here is usually the Enso 1 and 2 regions. So, and this right here where I'm pointing my mouse is the Nino 3.4 region, and that's really what matters here the most right now. So we're gonna see how this progresses as we go out through hurricane season. Okay, so here we are. We are at the main focus of this video. Um, the National Hurricane Center in Miami has issued a tropical weather outlook for a potential area of interest yesterday. And now it's starting to grow in odds a little bit. So we're going to read through this. A low pressure system could form during the next day or so, a few hundred miles south of Guatemala in the Gulf of I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. I'm just gonna say Pac. Okay, please forgive me, guys. I don't speak Spanish, so please don't judge me, please. Therefore, thereafter, some slow development will be possible while the system moves westward at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Formation chances through 48 hours, low 10%. Formation chances through 5 days, low 30%. So, as you guys can see, the chances of this developing has increased. Whether this is actually going to form is yet to be determined. I still give it another couple of days to see if these chances rise. Then we might I might start paying extra attention to it. So with that being said, let's take a look at the GFS and see if that has anything forming out of the area of interest. And as you can see, this is our area of storms right here. I think yes, that's probably it. We're going to take a look at the wind shear here. We're not going to look at the wind shear the whole time. So the wind shear is low. It's 5 knots right now. So we're going to go. All right, hold on. And there we go. We're going to go 24 hours. There's a closed ISO bar, but nothing too organized. 48 hours. There's something is starting to brew here because it's starting to get that look. 4 knots of shear. All right, so go 72. And as you can see, now we're getting the reds and oranges popping up. So what's the it's working with 14 knots of shear, which is still pretty good. 96, it's disorganized, say the least. 120, still disorganized. 140, nothing. GFS has a rather disorganized system, so let's see what the European has to show us here. All right, so here's 24 hours out. We got much to nothing. 48 hours, 72 hours. We got a low pressure area. We're gonna see if it does anything with it. 96 hours. That's 4 days. 120, 6 days, 7 days. Euro doesn't really do much with it either. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens going forward. I think these models don't have anything because we don't have a well-defined area of thunderstorms right now. I think once the thunderstorms start building up, I think these models are going to pick up on it a little bit better. Obviously, the National Hurricane Center is increasing the odds, so maybe this might become something in the future. All right, so here's the sea surface temperatures for the Eastern Pacific. And as you can see, it is warm. It is really warm where the system is. We got 30s and 31s here. It's bathtub water. So this is kind of like, no, I mean, I don't want to, compare regions, but this is kind of like the Northern Indian Ocean, and these the bathtub waters can be thrown out the window. Um, if this thing forms, anyways, can be thrown out the window. Um, Obviously, I don't think this is going to be a strong system. I mean, it's just the season just started, but if this does get going, then it has the waters for it. Is what I'm trying to explain here. Uh, it also has to do with wind shear and everything else that goes with the formation of a tropical system. So waters are definitely good. Alright, so here's the IR loop. And as you can see, I think this is our area of thunderstorms that we are watching right here. I'm more focusing on this batch right here than anything else because it's starting to build those showers and thunderstorms pretty nicely, as they say. So the National Hurricane Center thinks that a low pressure system is going to form either tomorrow or sometime in the next day or two. And I'm looking at this batch of storms right here for the potential low pressure area to form. Anyways, this is it for my video. I will have more updates on this potential East Pack system as we go out through time. Thank you guys for watching and have a nice evening.